My name's Jenny Doherty. I'd like to welcome you to Little Acorns Bookstore in the Yellow Yard, Palace Street, Derry. We're based here in what was known as Derry's last shirt factory, A&E McCandless's shirt factory, which closed down in 2012. I share this space with three other retailers, Little Blue World, who does arts and crafts, Abba Zappa Record Shop, and Trunk, which does recycled and upcycled 1960s retro clothes and furniture, and St Jude Coffee, which is a little coffee shop on site as well. So I'm here now in this particular space a year. Little Acorns Bookstore first started in 2011, March 2011. So we're 5 years now, and it's grown from a 6-foot table to 1,000 square foot. And never planned to open a bookshop, just sort of came about with having too many books, working in publishing, working in libraries, working in every bookshop in the town, and just been loving books. Little Acorns Bookstore has about maybe 12,000 books in stock, a mixture of new and second hand. Specialise mostly in Irish fiction, non-fiction and local books, a lot of which would be Guildhall Press books, books published by independent authors, self-published, a lot of Irish. In front of you here we have a mixture of literary gifts, postcards. I'm very fond of letter writing and sending postcards, so it's something I would love for it to be revitalised and get people to get off their phones, off their iPads and computers. And I've nothing against e-books or anything, but it would be lovely. Everybody loves receiving a letter in the post, and cards. So I've got lots of postcards and cards, which I try to have that are individual to here and no one else would have. So I'll take you a little tour of the shop here. So also have all these little literary bags. So it's like bagging a book. Go away I'm reading, go away I'm thinking, go away I'm writing. You know, so, and they're very popular with all age groups. Posters as well. People always, you sort of think posters are an old thing. I remember from the 1980s and 90s we had them as on our walls as students and whatnot. So especially the Marvel posters. Most of the Marvel posters and the superheroes are very popular for all age groups, not just 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds. It goes right up to 30 and 40-year-olds as well. So, and it actually has its own little section for all the sort of Marvel comics and graphic novels, which is really starting to grow brilliantly, and it's a lot to do even with the films. You think Star Wars as well, Batman, Superman. So that's a popular wee section there. And this particular unit was from the shirt factory, and it used to store all the threads and needles. So when we moved into this building, this was one of the things that was left behind. So just painted it up, and I think it's great that it's been used now for all art and craft books, art history, how to do art, the crafts, knitting, stitching, making soft toys, wooden toys, antiques. All pictures here. Most of these have been handmade, and posters here from 1940s, 50s, 60s and 70s. Ones from films as well, iconic images of Marilyn Monroe, Audrey Hepburn. They're very popular, and sort of 1950s art as well. And it's the young ones again that are very interested in. So, and as I take you round, you'll see, if you look up to your left, up here, we have a selection of some of the typewriters that I've collected. And the typewriters have come, I've either found them myself or bought them in second-hand places, or customers have come in and found old typewriters in the attics, or under the bed, or and have moved house and found ones and have brought them in. And what I could show you is one over here that these are the oldest ones that I have. And like this one here was one that George Orwell, who wrote 1984, An Animal Farm, would have used a Remington, not unlike this one. And we've got like these ones, that's over 150 years old. It's about 100 years old. Hermes one, that's a little bit more modern, that would probably be the 1960s. That's about the 1950s. And this little one of my favourites, the Lilliput orange one is one I got from Santa Claus back in the 70s. So that's when I started collecting typewriters. And the Underwood one, which is most known for all the iconic sort of the beat poets and the beat writers. I swapped that one for a dresser, so that's why I came to accumulate that one. And this big unit here, that's all literary section and poetry, drama, criticism. That unit as well was left behind in the shirt factory. It's a big sort of what do you say, like steel shelf, very hard to move. But I just thought it'd be great to keep it in here too. Took about 6 hours to clean it, mind you, and it's wrapped on the outside and interior with wallpaper. So there you go. So everything's got a wee use. The fridge door here, where all the magnets are, that was in a skip. That's from one of those sort of like 1950s style fridge doors. It's just great to have just a wee bit of the old recycled things, upcycled things among the shop. So here we have more literature, short stories, and there's a lot of people taking an interest now in creative writing. So I wanted to sort of create a space for sort of reading, a reading chair, and also have the books all to do with writing, books and books, short stories, anthologies, and how to write screenplays, how to write creative writing, poetry. So that's this little section here. This particular shelf was donated, and I'm happy to say that some of the furniture all has little stories. It belonged to Presbyterian Church, I think, on the waterside, and that was donated. It was out in somebody's garden for garden tools, so there we go. And oh, I have to show you this. Not just do I have books, but I also have things that look like books and literary gifts, and a little Alice in Wonderland cushion as well. So it's sort of just to give people this is the reading chair, so you can read this also. And over here, you see, as I say, typewriters dotted everywhere. Teenage section, and I can safely say that it was a couple of teenagers who would be frequent readers have helped me put this together and recommended authors. So it's one thing that if people want to recommend or authors I don't have, or there's a new author or a new book, I would listen to the advice of customers and hopefully get them in as well. Irish fiction, A to Z, and I'm happy to say that a lot of the authors within these shelves are from the northwest of Ireland also. It's such a big section. It's actually bigger. The Irish fiction section is actually bigger than the sort of general fiction, which is saying as much. It's quite creative here. And in here, there's our Irish non-fiction section and local section. There's a lot of the books about Derry and Donegal, the northwest. A lot of books from Guildhall Press predominantly, and a lot of these books are also signed. And we've got all the other non-fiction Irish as well. And as I mentioned, chairs. We've got two very famous chairs. They look like old school teachers' chairs, and they are. But I got to a stage where people were looking to buy my chairs, and I said no. So this one, it has been signed by playwrights, directors, musicians, artists. Let's see what else we have. A lot of mostly jazz musicians as well, actors, actresses, directors. So there we go, and I have about 70 signatures on that at the moment. So that's one chair, and it's been on television as well, and it's been interviewed on the radio. So there we go. But the other chair, which is the one that's most coveted, and the one that we have a writer's chair, and I can just show you we have a lot of local signatures as well, and mixed among more well-known ones. Like we've got here Melvin Bragg, who was in town, or he was in Derry in the City of Culture year. We've also got Stuart Bailey, we've got Nick Lard, Sandy Tosford, and so there's about 100 as I say, 117. Crime Cleves, Colin Bateman, Marlon McLaughlin, John Lindsay. We've got Charlie Hearn, Liam Sissay, who loved my typewriter, so I was happy with that. Sheena Wilkinson, Darwin Downey, the late Mickey McGuinness. We've Dave Duggan, Paul Gosling, and John Ronson here, Jerry Potter, and Sean Farn, and then at the back here we have somebody who wasn't able to use a pen, but we have Oliver Jeffers, who's a children's author and illustrator who used a stamp. So there we go. So this is like at least once a week we'll get a signature. The Jackanory chair, and this chair was donated also. So it's sort of probably best known. Ronnie Barker used to do the Jackanory storytelling. So it's a very comfortable chair and people just relax. And then here, so in this little section, sort of the non-fiction corner, where I have like the academic books. It could be business, computers, sociology, psychology, and then biographies and history and politics. That's another section that's greatly grown, is the history and politics section, and not just like for British or Irish politics and history, but like world politics, American, Canadian, Europe, and especially during when the Brexit vote came in, a lot of the European books, sold. I sell online as well, you see, so it's a section that's constantly changing and constantly growing. And for myself as a bookseller, it's great to know that people are reading a lot of non-fiction, because it's only for greater education and knowledge as well. In this little corner here, just behind you, is all the sort of books to do with health and nursing and women's studies and medical health, children's health, women's health. So as you can see, the shelves are busting. I think I need a bigger shop, but here you go. This is the kids' corner, and as you can see, it's done up like a little area for them to play in, to do their artwork, to storytell, to sit on. And here we have Scooby-Doo, who was donated to us, who's the resident guard dog. And for the children, they love hugging Scooby-Doo, and it's compulsory for all the children to come in to give him a little hug. So he's in here, and around here, there's all the different books for YA, stands for young adult, so young adult fiction. So this would be for 7-year-olds up to 12-year-olds. And then you've got all the traditional stories, the sort of well-loved tales like Alice in Wonderland. You've got Little Woman, Anne of Green Gables, Treasure Island. And here we come round to the non-fiction, and someone, Roald Dahl, who's a very popular, he never dates. And you've got the newer titles, newer books, where you've got books about princesses and fairies, which the children love, about dinosaurs and about ancient history, sort of different things that are done in a funny, humorous way. You get the Wimpy Kid, which is very popular, and Dork Diaries, which, when you think about it as well, they've all been made into films as well, but it's great to see the kids are still reading. And so this is a little area that it's very important to have a kids area, a children's space where they can come in and just at their own leisure and be left alone, and they're never bored. The iPads go away, the mobile phones disappear, and it's just great to have that creative space. So sort of take a seat, grab a book, relax, and welcome to the Lake Holmes Bookstore. And there you are, there you have it.